Major breaking news now. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested singer David Burke for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the DA's office on Monday for filing consideration. You may remember, and we've been reporting, Rivas's body was found in the trunk of David's car in September of last year. She was only 14 years old. Again, this breaking news just into our newsroom. We're working to get more information, and we'll continue to follow this story.
We do want to go ahead and bring in now ABC's Alex Stone on the phone to speak more about this case. Alex, you've been following this from the very beginning. What can you tell us as far as this breaking information goes this afternoon?
Well, Mark and Michelle, sources are telling us that this is based off of evidence that the LAPD was able to gather and put together and now is going to be presenting to the LA County DA for a filing decision on Monday. This was not from any kind of indictment. We know that the case had gone to a grand jury. It was expected that there might be an indictment coming sometime soon. We were thinking in the last couple of months or in the next few weeks. This was not from that. We are told that this is evidence that they have been compiling going back to when her body was found last September, that now they have reached a point where they believe they have probable cause, and it's gone to the DA.
Yo, his life is absolutely over. Finally, he's been arrested. How many people has the luxury to afford for someone's decomposing, dismembered body to pop up in their front in a freaking junkyard of all places and not be arrested for 4 months? It's literally been, I believe, 7 months since she passed, but about 4 months ago, he became a person of interest. Let's go back to the news report to get just a little bit more juice.
All right. And so a lot of people wondering, so many things seem to point to him. Why did it take them this long to make the arrest? We know they're pretty methodical about how they do things, but.
Yeah, it's a good question. One of the things that they were waiting on, Mark, was the cause of death. And there was difficulty reaching that cause of death, not to get too graphic, but her body was in multiple parts. It was in, we know from court documents, 2 different body bags in the front trunk of that Tesla when her body was found. So it was difficult for the medical examiner to determine the cause of death. So they had to prove or be able to show to the DA that she was murdered, that it wasn't something else where, let's say that she overdosed.
Yeah, earlier reports suggested that people may have thought she overdosed and someone got scared and shoved her body into the front. But now that it's looking like it's going to be ruled a homicide, that definitely puts him in the crosshairs to be arrested. And then again, because he has resources, you want to make sure this case is airtight. He has no wiggle room.
And then somebody freaked out and put her body in that trunk. They have to be able to prove that it was murder. They now believe that they can do that.
All right.
Yeah, we also know, David, as many entertainers do, had an entourage of people around him at times. I know some other individuals have been considered as drivers of this vehicle or either around. Any information on possibly how this could impact other people that David was around that also may have been around Celeste Rivas?
Michelle, we don't know.
That's a great question, because I remember one of his entourage was originally arrested in question. I believe they were let go, if I'm not mistaken. But could it be that someone in his entourage deleted her and stuffed her in his car? I'm sure his defense team is working up every plausible defense other than him pleading guilty to deleting her.
Oh, yeah. And if there are any other arrests that are going to be coming in this case, we know that there were a number of witnesses who came and testified in front of the grand jury, again, that this was not an indictment, that this is probable cause that the LAPD put together and moved forward on. But during the grand jury proceedings, which are secret as they're ongoing, that there were a number of other people who came forward, those who are close to David, friends of David, family members of his were subpoenaed to go in front of the grand jury. So if there are other arrests that could be coming, we don't know. But as of right now, he is the only one that we know of under arrest.
All right.
Now, the crazy thing is, I believe his father did go in front of the grand jury and testify to his schedule if I'm not mistaken. But that was, I believe, roughly a month ago, and the news did a good job covering it. Here is the news story right here. Let's hear it.
We are learning tonight that the singer known as David is apparently the target of a grand jury investigation looking into the death of a teenage girl who you may remember was found dead in his car last year. New court documents show police found the victim in a severely decomposed state, her dismembered body in the front trunk of the Tesla. And the documents say David was away on tour when the car was found. I want to get right to Chloe Malas now. Chloe, walk us through some of these new documents, because apparently David's father is being asked to testify to the grand jury.
Hallie, that's right. I mean, this is incredibly significant because obviously, like you just said, last year is when the remains of this 15-year-old girl were found in the trunk of David's Tesla while he was on tour, and he's never been charged or arrested in connection to this apparent murder. But now in these new documents obtained by NBC News, we see that he is the target of this grand jury investigation. And we know that family members of his have appeared before a grand jury earlier this month on February 11th. And, you know, when a grand jury convenes, this is something that's highly secretive. You never know typically when the date is going to be. And that's when the grand jury listens to evidence brought by the state's prosecutors, and they decide whether or not to bring charges. And again, he has not been charged with any crime in connection to this teen's murder. NBC News has reached out to his legal team for comment, and they have not responded to us yet on these documents. But again, incredibly significant, because this is the first time that we've now learned that officially prosecutors are looking at David as the target for this grand jury investigation. Hallie?
I mean, they should have been looking at him from the beginning because it was found in her car. Now, the news outlet Variety actually broke the case right here. They broke the case on it, and it was one key thing that they made sure to put in it. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed there were investigating a trip the 21-year-old took to Santa Barbara area sometimes during the spring of 2025 following Hernandez's death. A spokesman for the musician said in September that he was fully cooperating with authorities. Though as of November 18th, NBC Los Angeles reported David was no longer cooperating with law enforcement. Now, likely he didn't want to incriminate himself and say something that may put him in a worse situation. But people like Charleston White believe that he is innocent anyway.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
He didn't do it.
Fuck out of here. All the evidence that's out there.
When they gonna let a nigga stay out this long and they got a little bit of evidence? They didn't arrest nigga with way less evidence. If nothing else, put him in jail just to put a hole on him.
A dead body found in your car?
Listen, hold on. If they find a dead body in me and your car, and this is our car, do you think they'll let me and you stay out like long? They got all, so think about this. If they got all this information on him dating a minor, an underage kid, and she look like a white girl, mixed girl, what nigga they let just stay free like this?
I mean, I can see Charleston White's point, but this could be for some shock value. And the crazy thing is there is so much evidence that he has 100% interacted with her. Now, whether he killed her or not, I can't wait to see what they present to the DA on Monday. But Jesus, I mean, he's going to be in jail throughout the weekend, no bail, trying to mount hopefully an alibi, because they need to figure out the time of death of her and where he was in correlation to that time of death. But let's let Charleston White continue.
We already claim about injustices. You don't think, like we see in all the first 48s in crime units victims, they would find some kind of reason to hold him and keep him, make sure he don't do nothing to flee? They're not no arrest. They got all this evidence to point to say he did it. He done sliced the body up because the body was butchered. So that means somewhere there's a location where there's been blood, where they put cut the lights. They got all this, no arrest. Y'all really think he done this, and everything points at him. That's why you can't go with this. If everything points at him, why hadn't they made no arrest when we see niggas get arrested with less evidence? With less evidence, circumstantial evidence they go to trial with. So they got all this physical evidence in his car, his girlfriend. Come on, my nigga.
Look, man, I don't think this guy is innocent. I definitely think he may have known. Like, I mean, it would be hard. I would be hard pressed for me to believe that he had no idea what happened to her. But the internet seems to be convinced that, yeah, arresting him was the right thing. You know, people saying like, yo, took them long enough. You know, how do the rules of the law work about arrest and bail? Am I missing something? Justice has been served, thank God. Well, here's the thing, guys. The harsh reality is he's just been arrested. Monday, he'll likely be officially charged, maybe with premeditated murder, not sure. And then we'll go from there. I imagine they're going to give him bail, and he's going to bail out. And we may not see this case come to an end for at least a year. But if they have like some rock solid evidence on him, then maybe his bail may be revoked. Maybe 6 months from now, he'll enter a plea deal. But it is hard to believe that this guy became this multimillionaire, I guess you could say successful singer, and then he just deleted somebody. It is crazy, but let me know what you think in the comments section. See you next video. Peace.